them out. I mean, in some big
spots.
Many
games this year.
So many games this year. Just has been such a revelation for the Hawks, especially this year. Just kind of...
I don't think for the Hawks, but just for the rest of hockey.
Yeah.
We've known his potential. We know how good he's been the past couple of years. This year is something else.
Yeah.
For the rest of hockey...
That's kind of what I'm saying. He's really turned it on this year.
Analysts and writers are really starting to pay attention, which is so nice for Crow.
So nice for me, who has been...
biggest Corey Crawford supporter.
I've been riding his coattails for a while now, so...
Big fan of Corey Crawford on the program.
You know, a lot of people say he was overpaid. And I think every passing year that myth goes kind of, it's untrue, basically. He's earning every cent of that paycheck. So I'm really happy for him this year. And he made Team Canada for the World Cup of Hockey.
Yes, along with 8 other players for the Blackhawks.
He's right there for Vezina.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the argument
if he has a great stretch run, he'll probably get it, which will be awesome.
Yeah.
And you know Kane's going to get the MVP, and you know all this stuff already.
Yes, and I put that on the docket here.
That the Hawks could sweep the awards.
There's 4 awards that I think they could win this year. The Selke, Taves, just for his two-way play. Mm-hmm. The Calder, Panarin, obviously. Mm-hmm. Hart, Kane, and Vezina, Corey. So... they realistically have a chance to win all 4 of those.
I think the Calder and the Hart are basically a lock.
Yes, they are.
At this point.
Unless McDavid scores like 10 goals a game, which is unlikely, Panarin is going to win the Calder. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. And Kane is...
playing on a line with Patrick Kane for the rest of the season will definitely help his chances getting more and more points.
They are unreal together. Just going back to the Red Wings 2 games this week, just watching them on the power play. They've recently jumped up to number 1 in the power play. It's all because of Panarin and Kane. Mm-hmm. They are unbelievable with open ice. And you see their vision and just the way they work so well together.
The
chemistry's there. They are probably the 2 most fun players to watch, at least in my opinion.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes.
In between that Red Wings sandwich there, the Blackhawks lost a game to the Boston Bruins.
Like a bad piece of bacon.
Yeah, just like like an old piece of meat in there.
Yeah, it was just an old piece of meat.
They lost to the Bruins 4-2. New addition Fleischmann did score, and I've liked his play since he's joined the Blackhawks.
Done a lot of good things.
Your thoughts on that Bruins game?
They kind of just got down early.
Yeah.
It was one of those games where they just come out flat and are kind of flat the entire game. Could have had a chance to make a run, but sometimes that doesn't happen. But to see Fleischmann score was just good. You want to get those guys some confidence on a new team early on, and scoring a goal. There's nothing more confidence building than that. So.
Yeah, and Ladd has played well as well.
Yep,
since coming back over to the Blackhawks. But Dale Weiss has he hasn't really clicked yet with this group. I haven't been hearing his name a lot.
I've been hearing his name, but negatively. From Q. Sometimes his Q just he doesn't find that right spot for players, or they just don't want to adhere to what he's putting in his system. That said, he's only he plays on the 4th line with Brandon Mashinter.
For me, correct me if I'm wrong, if you have 2 guys that have played in the same team together and played in the same line together in Montreal, wouldn't it make sense to pair them together with a Teuvo Teravainen?
I think that will eventually happen. That said, though, Desjardins has been playing really well
playing great
on that 3rd line. And I think once Mashinter shipped back down to Rockford and they get Kruger back and signed a 3-year deal, by the way. We can talk about that. I think he'll be more comfortable. He's playing just with guys that are not very skilled, so he's a kind of player that needs skilled guys around him. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see how he develops as the Hawks continue on their season. got a huge stretch coming up. They got St. Louis. Oh, gosh, I hate them. On Wednesday, Dallas on Friday, and the Los Angeles Kings on Monday. All conference opponents, 2 of them divisional opponents. The Stars lost in overtime tonight, but for those people who don't know hockey, that still means a point.
You get a point.
So the Blackhawks are technically behind the Stars as of now.
Yeah, with a game in hand.
With a game in hand, which is huge. But let's talk about that Kruger deal. 3 years, $9.25 million, which means to me that Andrew Shaw is most likely going to get traded in the offseason.
It doesn't guarantee anything because Kruger can still be moved.
Mm-hmm.
But, they identify that Kruger is more essential to the core rather than Shaw right now. They know they can find those wingers, out there. But Kruger fills up the middle of the ice, and now they have maybe the deepest center position in the whole league, which has always been an issue with them. But and they're all locked up until 2020.
Just keep building that core.
Yeah, so they'll sign Tavo eventually, but
I like the deal. Kruger's always been pretty consistent.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get with him, and I just really enjoy the deal, only because I don't see Andrew Shaw as like a very key piece moving forward.
Andrew Shaw will actually command a pretty good amount of money too. They'll also be able to get probably a first-round pick back for him. And like I said, Kruger he's perfect for the Q system, works really well on the PK, does a lot of really good things. So does Shaw, but just as like the Blackhawks system, just focusing on that, I think Kruger's a really good fit. So
yeah, and some of you who are listening and they're being like, oh, they have no more cap space. What's happening? Bowman has always been able to find those filler guys who will just step in and perform, or guys overseas that'll come over, good young players, and will fill spots as well. So don't freak out about this. This is a good thing for the Blackhawks moving forward. All right, it's time for our Meatballs of the Week, and our meatball, one of our meatballs, is Mr. David Kaplan. Just hating on the Lovie Smith hire, hating on Illinois athletics as a whole, saying you can't fire a guy who was in the middle of his contract. And, Mr. Kaplan, Joe Madden. I think you're familiar with the situation, and I think it's completely...
I would say it's a little different.
It is a lot different, but...
A lot different, yeah.
It's, don't freak out about this because you're getting a good coach, and we all know the Chicago hate with Lovie Smith.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Bill Cubit.
Yeah, Bill Cubit.
Should never have gotten an extension for God knows what reason. He gets an extension, and now people are mad about him.
People are mad online.
People are mad online about Lovie Smith getting a college job. The guy's been in the Super Bowl, okay? Just calm down, David Kaplan. Keep standing.
All right, another meatball is the Bulls training staff as a whole, because get your crap together, people. I'm really sick of this. We've already talked about it. I don't even want to talk about it anymore because I'm just so annoyed with the Bulls training staff. All right, let's get into some good people.
Some good people.
Shout-outs to Mark Karantzoulis for joining us on the program. Great interview. Check him out at Chicago Bulls Confidential. He'll probably be posting something as well.
There's a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff on there about the Bulls and their playoff hopes.
Yeah, anything Bulls.
And moving forward as well. Shout out to my buddy Matt Marth. And also, I want to give a shout out to Julie DiCario, who has to, I feel like, extremely bad for Julie.
Yeah.
She does great work. She's a great writer. And she constantly gets crap for some of her work. And she shared
very unfairly,
some stuff this week on Aaron Andrews, and you should go check it out. I just want to give a quick shout out to her because she's doing great work.
Yeah, I've always been a huge Julie DiCaro fan.
Yeah,
she unfairly gets untreated fairly by random people. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us again. We really appreciate it. Check us out on Twitter at Sosa Steam Room, and be on the lookout for the website launching probably by the time you hear this.
Yeah.
So, any last words from Blake?
No.
You heard it. Have a good day, everybody. We love you.
I love you.
You're going to freak everyone out.